Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bert Ferguson, Realtor, coming to you guys with another update video. Actually, this one's going to be a little bit different. This video is going to be talking about some key demographic changes in the home ownership journey. I work with the general public when it comes to purchasing real estate. So that means I work with people of all different demographics, whether it's racial makeups, age groups, nationalities, sexual orientation, so many different people, right? And I saw an article on Realtor.com that I want to go over today, and it really stuck out to me. And the title of the article says that Black homeownership rate sees largest annual increase among racial groups, but still trails behind white home ownership rates by almost 30 percentage points. So I want to talk about this topic because I think that here in America, we want to know who's doing what. And we also want to know, hey, what are some of the barriers for everyone to be able to purchase a home? And I work with the public, so I get to see very closely how home ownership are hurdles for everyone, but how that breaks down for different demographics. So one of the first things that I want to say is that I work with the general public, and as the Realtor Code of Ethics, I must treat everyone with respect and the same level of service. And with that, that means that I need to know what each specific demographic group, whether it's racially, whether it's age groups, whether it's nationalities, whether it's creeds, whether it is sexual orientation or familial status, whether it's disability status, whatever, I need to know what these communities need. And the best way to know what those communities need is to know the numbers, know the data. So this was an article that came out March 17th on Realtor.com. And again, it talks about how Black home ownership rate sees largest annual increase among racial groups, but still trails behind white home ownership. Now, one of the key highlights about this article is that Hispanic Americans actually experienced the most pronounced home ownership rate increase, 5.8 percentage points, or 3.5 million homeowners in the last decade. So in the last decade, the Hispanic home ownership rate has increased. And this is something that is extremely important. If you're working with the general public, if you're getting into real estate or you're already in real estate, you must know this, that the Hispanic population in America is purchasing homes at a higher clip than any other racial minority in the last 10 years. How can you service them? How can you make their home ownership journey easier? How can you give them valuable information so that they make the best purchase possible? Also, Black homeowners experience higher housing cost burdens in 39 states, spending more than 30% of their income on housing costs. Again, as we can see, Black homeowners are increasing every single year. But the thing about that is it's a precarious increase because as we can see, more than 30% of their housing costs, which lenders don't like to see that high, more than 30% of Black homeowners' money is going to keeping their home. So they're very house burdened, okay? How can we change that, or how can we better service this community and be able to alleviate that pressure so that when they do get into a home, they can stay in that home? And next, 1 in 3 Hispanic households falls into the 25 to 40 age group of home buying, while Asian households aged 25 to 40 increased 34% since 2023. And 21% more Hispanic households are in Hispanic communities more than 10 years. So this is some really great data too. So as the article reads, it says the U.S. Black home ownership rate experienced the highest year-over-year increase in 2023 among racial groups, yet still falls behind significantly a white home ownership rate, according to the National Association of Realtors 2025 snapshot of race and home buying in America. This real estate market intelligence report highlights who is entering the U.S. housing market and how demographics, affordability, and financing access shapes home ownership trends among different racial groups and ethnic groups. It explores home ownership rates among racial groups in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. So this report provides the ecosystem with in-depth information about how racial and ethnic groups approach the housing market, said Jessica Lotz, the NAR, National Association of Realtors, Deputy Chief Economist and Vice President of Research. It helps the industry professionals by providing detailed local information about challenges and success. And that's why I wanted to make this video. I want to make this video because as a realtor, it's important to know how to service different communities, and you have to stay abreast on the information. So here's some really good information. While Black home ownership rate is at 44.7%, achieved the highest annual gain among all races in 2023, it still remains substantially lower than white 72% home ownership, 63% for Asian home ownership, and 51% for home ownership rates in Hispanic communities. So despite affordability changings, the U.S. home ownership rate was higher in 2023 than it was a decade ago. So home ownership rates in 2023 are 65% of Americans own a home, but a decade ago, it was 63%. So we have seen an increase. Now, Hispanic Americans have registered the largest home ownership rate increase in the last 10 years, like we said earlier, of all racial groups, okay? So that is really strong. Nearly half of renters spend more than 30% of their income on rent, and in 46 states, Black renters face greater affordability challenges than their white counterparts. One of the biggest things that I want to take for this is for down payment sources. This is a big one. For down payment sources, Black homeowners use 401k and pensions, 11%, down from 17% from last year, and community government down payment assistance programs were about 5%. The typical down payment was highest among Asian buyers at 21%, then white buyers at 19%. So this is really good data, okay? Now, one of the biggest things that I did want to go over was that Black, 47%, and Asian at 33% buyers were most likely to report discrimination during the transaction and the type of loan product they were offered. 5% of Black and Asian and 2% of Hispanics buyers experienced discrimination based on race. So those are still low numbers, but still, we don't want anyone to feel like they're being discriminated against based on race. So this is a really great article. It's from NAR, National Association of Realtors website. And it says Black home ownership rate sees largest annual increase among racial groups, but still trails behind white home ownership rates. And I'll leave a link to this article below. Tell me what you guys think about this. If you're watching this and you're a minority home buyer in the markets, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever it may be, tell me what your experience has been purchasing your home, trying to purchase your home, living in your home. Anything you want to give me so I can go out there and better service our community. So thanks for your time today, guys, and I appreciate it. I'll see you guys again, and I'll leave my information below, and make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks. See ya.